Hello and welcome to the Wake Up Podcast. I am Ben Kaysen here with Gabe Coleman, our resident digital marketing expert. We got a whole lot. What is your title, would you say, Gabe, here at Wake Up?
Yeah, no, digital marketing works. I wouldn't know if I'm the expert or not, but
I think
digital marketing.
The digital marketing guru extraordinaire here at Wake Up Pueblo and Snooze Mattress Company and Snooze Sleep. We've been putting on a lot of hats for all of that. Today, we're going to expand our Sincerely Creators. So for a few episodes ago on our YouTube, we got a request from one of our fans. He said, talk about SEO. He said, what's going on with SEO? And so I said, okay, I know who to talk to about this.
Yeah.
Today, we're going to talk SEO, kind of basic stuff, talk about what is SEO, how do you improve it. We'll get into some do's and don'ts. We'll go through it all. So Gabe, let's just kind of start with what is SEO?
Yeah, let's break it down. SEO is search engine optimization. Basically, it's how you would find yourself if you were looking on Google. Basically, when you go into Google and you type in anything, you're like looking for a car, right?
Yeah.
Those are keywords that you would rank for so that people can find you on that first page. So that's what SEO is. It's broken down into a few different components, which obviously there's like Google and Bing and the Google Display Network, which are all invaluable for SEO. But yeah, mostly important. It's just about how you rank and how your website ranks on Google and those search engines.
Gotcha. So it's not just random. There's an art to it.
There is, yeah. You would think it would be just kind of random, but there's a big competition going on for all those words you're looking for.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, for sure. I mean, you definitely want your business to be in that top spot. So.
Exactly, yeah. It's just important, whenever you're going to Google or anything like that and you type in, like I said, you want a car, the first person you see is probably going to be the one you go to.
Yeah.
So that's why that position is invaluable almost.
Yeah. So what factors go into SEO? Like, is it all just like pay to play, move yourself up, or is there other things that go into how I rank on Google's ranking SEO?
No, that's the kind of cool thing. So SEO is completely organic. So where there is paid advertisement, you can, pay for your ad on Google. SEO is all organic. So basically what you're doing is you're going in and you're looking for what you think like a customer.
Yeah.
And you're assuming what they're looking for and how they're going to type it into Google for your product. Like if it's going to be simple or long, like if it's going to be specific questions. And then you just go in and you try to find out what words you can search for or where you can be. So it's important whenever you're thinking of SEO to think that like if you're selling, I'm going to stay with cars now because I've talked about it. So let's talk about cars.
Yeah.
So if you created like a website and you were creating a website about cars, you'd want information about that to be relayed easily through Google. So you want to be able to have Google go to your site and be like, oh, this is what this person's about. They're about car sales and new cars and old cars and repairs, right? Like those will be the keywords in there. So you'd want to make sure that your site has all those in there, but you don't want to just flood your site. You want to use common keywords, like big things that that people are going to be obviously looking for so that you can be specific.
So these are words that you're trying to build into your site.
Exactly, yeah. So these are keywords. That's the main thing that SEO is built off of is the keywords, the key phrases that people look for inside of those search engines. That way that you can rank for them. So that's why you want to be specific as possible. The main thing if you're starting out on SEO to think about is like the competition behind these keywords. So like I said, if you're a car salesman, new cars is going to be a short tail keyword, and it's going to be probably really, really competitive to get to that. It's going to be really hard to rank for it.
What do you mean by short tail?
So short tail being like a shorter word. It's
gotcha.
Just like car or new car, right? Yeah. So obviously it's going to be a very search for topic. So people are going to be in high competition. What you're looking for if you're starting out new is going to be like, where can I buy a new car? That'd be considered long tail, right? So those are like more specific questions that people are, where can I buy a Grand Am, an 09 Grand Am or something? I don't even know if that even makes that, but like that's the kind of stuff that you want on your site so Google can crawl your site and make sure that, hey, this person's site is about this specific thing. I'm going to put this person in the audience, like in the targeted audience's eyes. And that's how you do that. So you want to make sure that you have those kinds of keywords and things that are very specific to whatever genre of sale or genre that your page is for, even if you're not doing any kind of sales, but so that you have a lot of traffic coming to your site, because that's how Google works that algorithm.
Interesting.
Yeah. So that's how you'd start out, is just going through thinking like a customer. What are some long specific questions that you would ask if you were looking for your product?
Interesting. And then working them into your website.
And then working them straight into your website.
So you mentioned the word crawl. So you said Google's going to crawl your website. Yeah. Is that going to be just an actual person whose job is to check things out, or is there some sort of... Tell me about that.
No, you'd think so. So Google is very, very, very invested in their technology. So you don't want just any site showing up in front of your audience, right? So they have to be specific. So they have these crawl bots. Basically, it's a software they created that every time you create a website and you go to Google and you want to be on Google searches, it'll go to your URL and it'll start going through your site and testing the performance on the whole site. So you want a fast site, it'll be like, oh, your site, it's not loading after 3 seconds. So therefore it'll basically kick you in the algorithm. So it'll throw you, your page will never perform as high as it could if you don't have a fast site.
Wow.
It also starts crawling those key phrases and crawling those keywords and making sure that, here's this genre specific site. Like this is exactly what these people are looking for. Yeah. Here's some long tail keywords that people are like looking for. They're very specific. This person has it. You know what I mean? Yeah. And that's how you'd rank on there. And that's how the crawl bot would work as well.
Gotcha. So they just go searching through your stuff.
Yeah, it does it. I think that they do those automatically pretty much every day. They have billions and billions of crawl bots just searching just like in
looking around.
Yeah. And in like all the industries. So it's something that happens across everybody.
So talk to me about like, maybe I've made some mistakes on SEO. So maybe I've got my website and, my website is just a couple pictures of me and my family for Ben's Car Emporium.
Yeah.
Just some pictures, a couple pictures of cars and like a call me button. And it runs really slow. And I've had that up for a few years. Like how long is it going to take me to turn things around, or am I just kind of stuck for a long time?
So SEO isn't like an overnight kind of thing. So you are going to be spending a little bit of time. Like I said, it's organic. So it's not as fast as you would see results for like a paid advertisement or something like that, where you're going to have an ROI right away. Yeah. With SEO, so you're going to be slowly coming up in the rankings every time that you type in a more specific keyword, or you add the keyword to your page, or you add an HTML code to your backing or to your header. So you just basically want to go through, if I was going to optimize your site, right? You'd want to start in the heading by creating some like a long tail keyword. People are going to be specific to you. So you're thinking Ben's new car lot, or Ben's new and used car lot, right? So make a good title, make sure that the keywords are in there, but you don't want to flood everything with too many keywords because that will blacklist you as well. So you just want to make sure that like
tell me about that.
Blacklisting on Google, it's not where you want to be. If you
doesn't sound like it.
No, if you get blacklisted on Google, so Google will no longer be able to feature you. You won't be even on the first 1,000 pages. You'll just be kicked back all in the bottom of the algorithm. That can be happening from having too many like keyword saturation. Like if you're obvious your site is just keyword after keyword after keyword, it'll be noticed by Google and be.
So it's like a spam site.
It'll be kicked like spam. Yeah. And then you want to make sure that like the layout looks good. You just don't want to seem too spammy. Google catches that stuff so quickly, and then blacklists you. Like I said, kicks you off the first 100,000 pages.
Interesting. Well, that's a problem if you're kicked off the 100,000 pages.
You'll know. Yeah, no one. I don't think I've ever gone to the 100,000th page on Google and been like, oh yeah, this is the most reputable site. So I'm gonna go here.
It's like found it.
But yeah, so that's what blacklisting is. You want to make sure that you're just cautious the way that you go about things. You don't want to oversaturate. You just think the way that a customer, like if you're going onto a page and you're looking at information that has been provided about that page, why does it create value? Well, is it answer the questions that you're looking for as you're searching it? Like as you're going through, like, okay, here's a very obvious, like, oh, this person has new cars, has old cars, they're locally owned, they're providing me with good information about exactly what I want to hear. Yeah. And then it's like you don't want to seem too gimmicky or too spammy. Just be a normal, but then making sure that you add that kind of stuff to your headers is like what I would say is performance. Gotcha. Performance gaining, but then it's like I said, it's a slow race. It's a very like turtle versus the hare.
Just do the right thing, one decision at a time, make things the right way, and you'll see yourself climb.
Yeah, that's the first step. The second step I would say would be obviously creating good content. Content regarding SEO could be videos. It could be really good articles. Blogs are a huge one. Like I said, obviously if it's transcribed, it's going to be a lot easier for Google to crawl that and then to put it in front of the targeted audiences and create backlinks. And then people are going to want to read it and share your article. Yeah. So whenever you're creating content that you're going to optimize for SEO, like if you're doing a video, just transcribe it. Like if you're going to put it on your page, like just make sure that everything that they're saying is transcribed and put in the body. That way that people who don't want to like watch it, read it. So you're already getting twice the audience. And then obviously whatever platform you're putting it on is going to go through, crawl it, like I said. Yeah. And then put it in front of the right audiences. The other thing about content, I'd say the second thing probably be hooks. Making sure that you put in a good hook. Put in something that like put a phrase or a one-liner, something that's going to make somebody want to continue reading even if it's like multiple hooks throughout, like describing what the next paragraph is going to be.
Yeah.
Short sentences, things like that are always better than like what this article is going to be about, because
Sure.
you're going to have a lot of people read that and be like, oh, well, now I know, see ya. And then they're out of there. And
Sure.
then Google's going to notice that too. It's called bounce rate. You want when people go to your site and then they actually like stay on your site. And then Google notices that if your site's if your article's bringing in traffic and then like 1.5 seconds later, they're like, whoa, I'm out. Google's gonna be like, all right, this person isn't providing any kind of valuable information. See ya.
Yeah. Sure.
Yeah. So that's important. Creating good content, creating hooks that are going to allow people to want to not only read your content and stay on your content, but share your content, creating backlinks. Backlinks are a huge proponent of SEO. And that's where your link is actually, out on somebody else's page. It's either on their site or on their social media or whatever it is they're doing, providing valuable information so that people want to share you,
Interesting.
Another thing is to think about when you're doing content for SEO is to be as in-depth as possible. I would say like no less than like 1,000 words, which seems like a lot. I know I don't write essays, but the more in-depth you are on on any topic, the more people are going to want to read it, which seems like it wouldn't be, but yeah.
So ignore kind of like make it really, really concise. You're trying to make sure you show the information in a concise way still. But
I mean, there's a certain amount of conciseness to it or whatever the word is, but
yeah,
you just want to be in depth with anything you're going to talk about. Like you don't want to be short and sweet because then it's just going to hurt your bounce rate, number one. And then people are going to want to share it because it's not going to seem as valuable as something that goes super in depth and in knowledge and you gain knowledge from reading it.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what I would say about that.
Interesting.
So that's the second part. What would be the third part about content? Yeah, I would say that those are the main two proponents I would use for steps like for SOE or SEO optimization for content on your page. Just good blogs, good like readable content, making sure that I know this sounds weird, but write your all your information at a 5th grade level.
Huh.
Yeah. The average American the average American reads at a 5th grade level. I know that's a weird fact, but
yeah.
So Google notices that. So if you write too big of words,
it's gonna
it's a flesh score reading. So it's how like you test your readability and like your audience and how your topic reads. You want to make sure you keep it normal. You don't want to add too many big words or too many small words. It's like how informal or how specific technical you speak.
Wow. So obviously this is a lot of stuff to take into account for a business.
It is. It's actually it's super easy. I know it seems like really drawn out process, but it's as easy as thinking like customer and then optimizing to that.
Think like a customer, optimize to that.
Yeah. How would you, if you were going to visit your own site, what would you want to know? What would you want to walk away with? What would make you feel like you learned either a valuable piece of information or you obtained the information you needed to create the buying experience? If you're selling a product on your site, like cars,
sure.
Like what's going to take them? What's going to make, this person, not only is their site ranking on Google, which makes me feel like, inherently trusting because, okay, it's cool. They're on Google first page because here's all the keywords they put in there too. Like I noticed this. These are the words I'm looking for. New, old car, like for sale, and then you just get more traffic that way organically. So
gotcha. Cool. So you mentioned before we kind of got started that we want to talk about like do's and don'ts. So kind of simpler things that people need to like focus on. We talked a little bit about the do's. So tell me about what are some things that we need to avoid?
Oh yeah. So don't just go for the keywords that are short and sweet. Like I said, you want to go for the long tail, so you want more specific
car.
Yeah, exactly. Shopping for this specific car, you want the more long tail keywords because there's gonna be less competition. Sure, there's gonna be less people searching for them, maybe, but if you have 1,000 people searching for it and you're the number one proprietor of the word, it's better than having 1 million people search for it and you get 1/80th of 1,000th of that. So you'll see a lot more traffic organically if you start using the long tail keywords. Not only in ads on like Google, but like in your site and in your articles. Super easy to do. And then don't oversaturate. So don't use keywords in don't use a whole paragraph of just keywords that you think are going to drive traffic. Like just write your article regular and then put the keywords in secondly. Come back and think and be like, oh, hey, maybe instead of putting just the word car, I can be like, oh yeah, if you're ever looking for a new or used vehicle from this year to this year. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
that's how I'd go back and just kind of optimize. If you don't have a Flesh score reader, there's a Flesh scale. I would use that. It's super. It's
a Flesh score
or a Flesh scale. So it's a Flesh scale is a readability kind of like allows you to see how your articles are reading, how the topic is being noticed, if it's too technical, informal, things like that. Like it's important to have that kind of stuff. Some of those actually come with keyword indicators too. So you can type in like a bunch of keywords that you want to use in your article, and you can see if you actually like use them organically.
Yeah.
So that stuff's kind of cool. I would do that. Another big thing that is like a don't do would be, man, I think that's pretty much it. Yeah, don't oversaturate. You don't go for the easiest to rank keyword because you'll never get it.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it.
Sweet.
Yeah, and don't think it's going to happen overnight.
It'll
happen, but it's, you know what I mean? Like,
it's a slow
progress. It's a slow race, but you're going to win it. As long as you're consistent.
As long as you're doing it right.
Yeah, just continue to create good content. Don't put out bad content. Don't forget to transcribe your videos. It's a big thing. People forget about that kind of stuff. Like, it's so easy because, you know, if you think about Google's not going to go into your video, hit play, and then sit there and listen to it and be like, oh, this is exactly what they're saying. I'm going to make sure this goes to the target audience. Like, no.
Help them out a little bit.
Yeah, help them out. Transcribe your video. It's pretty easy. I know that people don't like to go out of their way for that kind of stuff, but easy peasy thing to do. A lot of people aren't doing it. If you go to YouTube and you see the CC for closed captioning,
yeah,
it's like 77% of people are going to watch that compared to like ones that don't. Yeah, I know, it's weird.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
I didn't know that at all. Huh.
Yeah, it's important, which kind of brings me into my like second topic, which is like SEO for social media.
Yeah, let's talk about that.
Yeah.
SEO for social media.
Yeah. So SEO for social media is something that people don't think about because when they think about SEO, they're mostly pertaining to, like I said, search engines. They think Google, Bing, Yahoo, all those things. But really, most of what's going on, I would say, for people's like content, like what you're posting, is probably going to be on social media. And there's a lot of opportunity on social media for SEO that people don't take into consideration, and that being in the form of like alt text for Instagram and Facebook. So whenever you're making a post or anything like that, inherently the platforms, Facebook and Instagram, are going to read whatever content you're putting into the post under your picture, under your video, whatever it is, right? Your hashtags, and then they're going to drive an audience after that, and they're going to put that content in front of those audiences. But you really don't want to trust those platforms with choosing your audience. You know what I mean? Because it might go to like part of your audience, and it might go to people who have no care in the world about whatever the content is.
Yeah. And then it's wasted.
Yeah. You're going to see that reflected in like the 3 likes you get.
Yeah.
But you saw like 1.5 million impressions. And you're like, what the heck? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So what alt text is an advanced setting in whenever you go to post a picture or anything like that on Facebook or Instagram. And it allows you to basically go through there and add any of the meta tags that you want. So you're going to have like, you could be like, oh, you know, this post is about so-and-so content, and it goes to this and this and this, the audience. Like, it's about new cars for people in their 25 to 36 or 45 year range, and we have these cars, and you put your keywords basically in that alt text box.
Yeah.
And then that way it allows Facebook and Instagram to go on there, be like, oh, here's the specific audiences. This is exactly what the content's about. Boom. You know what I mean? So you're gonna see a lot higher results with that.
Gotcha. So how do you go about doing that on like Instagram or Facebook? Like, is that an easy setting to go change?
Oh, so easy. So it is an individual thing. You have to do it every time you post, which is not bad because presumably you don't want all your stuff to go to the same audience every time.
Sure.
Or maybe you do. I don't know. But either way, this is how you ensure you do that. So when you go to like post a picture, say Instagram, for example, and there will be a gear icon for settings.
Okay.
And you'll click on that, and it'll say advanced settings. Click on that, and there's going to be like a drop-down menu, and it's like, hey, you want to post this to like share to Facebook, right?
Yeah.
And then it'll say alt text, which stands for alternative text. You just click that box, type in all your keywords, what your content's about. You can be, like I said, you can be as long tail, short tail as you want about that. Obviously, with those kinds of things, it's more specific to the audience, the higher the engagement rate's going to be.
Yeah.
Not just the impression rate. So you're going to want some specificness to it, but yeah. So that's how you do that you can do that on Instagram, and you can do it on Facebook the same exact way. Just going through, whenever you go to post, go to edit, go to advanced settings, alt text, boom, 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 throw in all your keywords. That way you make sure that you go to the appropriate audiences.
Yeah. And then you set yourself up to be in front of the right people.
Exactly. And then you're going to see a lot better, like a lot higher engagement rate on each of those pieces of content, and you're going to feel more satisfied.
Yeah. Does that advice like go just for business owners, or does that go as well for just personal people that just want people to see them and be famous?
Well, yeah, no, it's a huge tool for business owners. Definitely. I think that if you're a business owner and you're not doing alt text, that you're missing out. But if you're someone who is like, you know, if you're branding yourself, if you're doing your own, you're doing your own work, or you're a freelancer or anything like that, then absolutely you should be taking advantage of the alt text, because like I said, you're going to be putting yourself in front of a specific audience that you want your content to be shared with.
Gotcha.
In a way, it's like the number one way to start networking.
You know? Interesting. Yeah. So you make sure you find your right spot. Don't leave it up to the algorithm to pick for you.
Yeah. Don't let Instagram and Facebook and Zuckerberg put your content where they think it should go.
Yeah.
Help them out.
Good. Help them out.
Yeah. And the same thing goes with like with YouTube or really any video you're putting out. A lot of people think that let's just go YouTube, for example, or even podcasts. It's another good one because it's similar. Whenever you're doing anything like that where it's like either visual or non-visual, what you want to make sure to do is to transcribe these things. Like if you have a video and you're posting it on YouTube and there's a closed caption, right? There's an option that says closed caption. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't let YouTube transcribe it, because for some reason, whenever it goes through that process, it also nullifies all those words to be used as keywords. Yeah. So what you want to do? Yeah. So what it's going to do is whenever you're using closed captions produced by YouTube, it does not correctly read those keywords, and so automatically does not target them. So what you're going to want to do if you're posting a video on YouTube is you're going to want to go to a third-party site, or like wave.io is a good one, or rev.com is another good one.
Yeah, I've used rev.com.
Yeah. And you're going to want to transcribe those. Obviously, it's going to take a little bit of proofing because not everybody's audio is perfect, you know.
Sure.
So just proof it, proofread everything, make sure it's all in there. And then what I would do is I would embed that, and not only in the body of the text of like a YouTube video, like where it's like the info about the, like when it was created and stuff like that, you would not only dump that whole transcription right there so that YouTube has like it can crawl and be like, because YouTube is part of the Google Display Network. So there's like
the same thing.
Yeah, Google bots are coming in, man, and they're going to read that and they're going to be like, oh, okay, this video is going to have this content and people are looking for this content, and it's going to help derive whatever keywords out of that content and then put you in front of the correct audience. So that's the biggest thing. And a lot of people don't think about that. It's a way to organically grow your business on YouTube, you know, which is a big platform. It's monetary. You can make money so quick, and then you would, you know, off your audience, and you could dump it, reinvestment back in, and then in that way SEO starts to pay you.
SEO starts to pay you.
Yeah. So it's like small opportunities people don't think about. And I get it, because it's like when you're thinking about content, you're thinking about what's in the content, but you're missing an opportunity by not sharing the actual transcribed version of it. Because I think that a lot of people don't take into consideration how much of their audience actually reads instead of watching the video. Maybe you're at work, you know, and you don't have time to like turn your volume up as hard as, and you don't have any headphones, and you like turn your volume up, and you don't want to bother everybody around you. You just want to know what the content of the video is because you're interested. So you go to the, read more, boom, boom, boom. Oh, okay, this is exactly what this is. I feel like I gained the same amount of like information I would have having watched it.
Wow. And
in that way, you still secure a client.
You're kind of blowing my mind here with that. That's interesting.
Yeah, same thing with podcasts. And you said that you've used wave.io or rev.com.
Yeah, I've used Rev in the past. For podcast stuff.
Exactly. It's important, just as important with podcasts. I know that a lot of people start out doing podcasts, and that it's hard to be monetary, to make money in podcasting. But another way to like make sure that you're ranking high in whatever you're doing, like if you're doing it on any display, any network really, like whatever. Like
on Apple or Spotify.
Spotify, YouTube's a big one for, obviously.
Yeah.
You want to put all the transcriptions down in the body. Yeah, that way that these podcasts are being crawled.
Yeah.
And then
get properly valued by the system.
Exactly. And in that way you're properly using and doing SEO.
Well, all this stuff, it like sounds like it has big dividends in the end, but it doesn't feel like that much work at the beginning.
Exactly.
Would you agree with that statement for SEO?
Yeah, I think if you have enough time to think like your own customer and think, especially if you're starting out, I would say it's harder to optimize for SEO if you didn't start in the beginning. But if you did start in the beginning, if you're starting out and you're already utilizing long tail keywords and making sure that your site has good creative content and that you're transcribing your videos and that you're making sure that, you're using hooks so people want to share your content and bringing those backlinks back to you. It's kind of like an entourage effect between backlinks and search engine optimization, keyword research.
Yeah. And it just keeps coming.
Yeah. And then you're automatically you're number one on the Facebook or on the Google page, and people are clicking on your clicking on your link constantly, and then you become the forerunner, right? Like,
yeah. Dang. All right. Well, Gabe, you got anything else for me on that? That's quite the breakdown you gave for us.
No, I know SEO seems complicated at first, and I know that even breaking it down makes it complicated sometimes. I know that whenever I first started doing SEO, I was like, what is this stuff? Like,
yeah, it's a lot going on, but you broke it down pretty well here.
How can I even utilize it? But it's so easy. No, you don't have to pay for it. You don't have to do anything. All you have to do is just do your homework. Like literally just
do your homework.
Go on Google, start asking the same questions you think your customers would search for your company, like whatever you want to be searched for. Like start asking those questions and then start utilizing those questions in your content, in your headers, in your body of your website. Start answering those questions, and then boom, boom, you're good. You're set.
Boom, boom, you're good. You're set.
Yeah. Just like that. Couple explosions, you're set.
Man, Gabe, thank you so much for coming on. I appreciate you, man. Just,
oh man,
you could tell just talking to you how much you know about this stuff. Like, I did some research on this before you came in, and I know a little bit about SEO, but man, you just blow my mind with these things.
Oh, well, I did a lot of research. I did my homework before I came on because I was so nervous to be on such a big show. No, it's a big thing, man. You make everybody sound so good. So it was honestly an opportunity and a privilege to be on the podcast. I've been looking forward to it. I didn't know if I was going to be on it or not, but
you're going to be on it. You're going to get everybody on this. But yeah, no, man. I knew this was going to be perfect for you doing SEO. So for the guy who asked that question in the YouTube comments, thank you for asking that. And so if you're listening to this and you have a topic that you want us to address with our amazing creative team here at Wake Up Pueblo, put it in the comments section, contact us, let us know, and we'll try and make that happen. And then Gabe, how do people contact you if they have any questions or just want to connect with you?
Yeah. You can just contact me via my Wake Up Pueblo email, which is Gabriel, Gabriel @wakeuppueblo.com.
There you go.
Yeah. Or you can follow me on Instagram. I think it's Gabe Alex Cole. So GabeAlexCole at Instagram, /Instagram /Facebook. So
to go find it on that.
Yeah. And if you have any questions regarding SEO or any of the digital marketing space, feel free to touch base with me, and I'll help answer any questions I can.
Awesome. Sweet. Gabe, thank you so much. I think that's just what's so interesting about this series. So we've been doing this Sincerely Creators series for a while. We've done 7 episodes now, and all of you guys just know so much about what you're doing, but we're all accessible. Right. If a young person is listening to this and wants to get into it, if an older business owner maybe is listening to SEO and is like, what is SEO? And is getting their mind blown. So that's why my YouTube video has 3 views. You can connect. We're not we're not distant.
Yeah.
So get connected.
Exactly. It doesn't take money to be a big company or a big face on in any kind of on the internet. Internet's free for everybody. You just got to know how to make it work for you.
There you go. Make it work for you. Gabriel, thank you so much. Gabriel/Gabe, either way.
My pleasure. Thanks
I went the whole time
me.
just saying Gabe, then I messed that one up. Thank you guys so much for listening. This has been the Wake Up Podcast, brought to you by Wake Up Pueblo. Go check out some of our previous episodes right here. We have one with Mia where we talked about why omnipresence. Why is it important to post on all of these things, which also filters into SEO because there's more exposure of your content.
Exactly.
We had me on there. We talked about podcasts. We talked about taking photos in moments, what you need to do. We talked about branding with Jacob. We talked about making your story whenever we're talking to Tyler Shaun. We talked to Chavez about pre-production. So for all the things you need to know to be a creator, go check out our series here, Sincerely Creators, as well as check out the rest of the Wake Up Podcast if you want to get to know more about some of our people here who work for us. Also, just go check out Wake Up Pueblo on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Spotify, Apple. Am I missing any? So many. There's so many. I always have to plug things at the end. There's so many things to plug. I love it. Thank you guys so much for listening. For Ben Kaysen and Gabe Coleman, have a great rest of your day.
Later.